So my name is Tony Mendes. I've been a presenter at today's Rocky Mountain Academy for Business Preparedness put on by the Red Cross. I work with FEMA Region 8 and the mitigation arena, and mitigation is important for lots of different reasons. We provide funding through grant programs to individuals, business owners, and governments, primarily governments, and working in partnership with the states. But we're all about part of the disaster cycle and breaking that cycle. We want to avoid damage, rebuild cycle, and part of that is preparedness, response, recovery, and mitigation. Mitigation really means getting ready to avoid damage in the future. Whether you're a business owner, a homeowner, where your children go to school, where we worship, all of those things are susceptible to fire, flood, earthquake, tornado. Recently in Colorado's flooding a year ago, we saw communities that were flooded that are not in the 100-year floodplain, the 1% chance of a flood annually. So those folks may or may not have been fully aware of the danger that they've been into in terms of living near the river. We love living in Colorado in the forest, by the rivers. Nature is part of what we do. But we want to avoid the risks and the hazards by not building too close to those places and by ensuring and buying down that risk. The National Flood Insurance Program is really an important part of that. You can find out more about the flood insurance program at floodsmart.gov or FEMA.gov or ready.gov, all on the internet. And they're open sites. Or you can always call FEMA and ask for assistance at the regional offices in Denver or work through your state office of emergency management. If you have questions about floodplain management, every community in the country has a local floodplain manager, and they have floodplain ordinances in place to help rebuilding and growth and the use of land in that community. All of us in our homes have normal homeowners insurance. That covers most things that happen, whether it's a fire in the home or hailstorms, things like that. They do not cover floods, so you have to have a separate flood insurance policy. And your flood insurance policy should be, you can talk to your insurance agent about upgrading and making sure that you have a separate policy to cover that. Normally when you talk about flood insurance, people only think about that if they live near a lake or near a stream, near a waterway. But in reality, everybody everywhere is at risk for flooding at some level. It might be overland flooding, it might be pooling water that accumulates very quickly, and you might be on high ground, but we've noticed that in this last flood here in Colorado in the last year, people that lived up on the bluffs near in and around the interface of the mountains, many of them were flooded, and they're not near a waterway. So it's important to understand your real risk. You have to make that choice whether or not to have flood insurance, but you can buy down your risk through purchasing flood insurance.